To say that Arnie Carlson was one of my favorite fellow governors. Connie mentioned that I also worked in public broadcasting. I was sort of the Judy Woodruff of Maine for 15 years and interviewed politicians, moderated debates, and did all that kind of work. And somebody said, well, why did you decide to go from journalism into politics? I said, I finally realized that my questions were better than their answers. So here I am. And I should mention, since we're talking about governors, that there are a dozen former governors in the Senate from both parties, and we decided to get together and form a former governors caucus. The idea being that governors tend to be less partisan, more pragmatic, because you have to deal with a legislature of various parties and try to get things done. So after we got this project going, I approached Mitch McConnell on the floor of the Senate and said, Mitch, I just want you to know we're forming a former governor's caucus. We're going to try to help get some things done around here. And he said, well, Angus, that's my best Mitch imitation. Well, Angus, I'll tell you, I found if you have a former governor who's now a senator and you ask them which job they like better, if they say senator, you know they'll lie to you about other things. And that's the only joke I've ever heard Mitch tell. So, but it's wonderful to be here. It's wonderful to be a supporter of the Respect Act. And I do want to bring some news. It looks like now nobody, you can't bet on what the Congress is going to do, but it looks like the Respect Act is going to be folded into the Support Act, which has a good chance of passing in this session of Congress. And I'll tell you, if you have Amy Klobuchar on your side, that's a big help, for sure. And I think it's important to realize how important you are, how important your advocacy is, and how important coming together like this is. Abraham Lincoln was once asked what he would do if he was given an hour to split a cord of wood. And his response was, I'd spend the first 15 minutes sharpening my axe. That's an interesting, because most of us would just start chopping. But what you're doing at a conference like this, by sharing ideas, what's going on in different states, you're sharpening your axe, you're thinking, you're learning, you're gaining insights and ideas that are going to inform the work that you're doing. The other thing Lincoln said that's always stuck with me, by the way, Lincoln once said that every political idea he had came from the Declaration of Independence. Every political idea I ever had came from Abraham Lincoln. But one of the things he said was, if you decide to do a thing, it's half done already. It's your commitment and your having decided to do this, to deal with FASD, to deal with the issues, to educate the public, to change public policy. That's half the battle. And that's what's so important about what you're doing here for these few days here in Washington. I was sitting and thinking about this. I have a daughter, Molly, who's now grown up, which is what they do. But when she was little, I used to teach her things with mnemonics, letters like Roy G. Biv for the colors of the rainbow. And one of them I've thought about was the 4 Ps. And I think it applies tonight. The 4 Ps. The first is plan, a vision. You have to have a vision of what it is you want to achieve. If you don't have a goal, you never get there. And you have to have, and that's what this organization has provided nationwide, is a vision about how to confront this tragic condition that affects so many people across the country, so many children, so many families, how to confront it. So you start with a vision or a plan. The second P is partnerships. You can't do anything important by yourself. And I know that you're working with groups across the country and groups here in Washington to try to form partnerships in order to advocate effectively for what it is you want to achieve. So a plan or a vision and partnership. The third P is perseverance. It's really easy, isn't it? I mean, it's nothing to it. No, you've got to have perseverance. Nothing significant is done without some resistance, some opposition. A friend of mine once said, everybody's for progress, nobody's for change. Well, you have to change that. In order to do it, you have to persevere. You have to be, you can't take no for an answer. And I was thinking, okay, those are three P's that sort of covers it. But then there's a fourth, and it was mentioned in the earlier remarks. That word is passion. The world changes by people that are passionate, by people who are committed, by people who care deeply about achieving results, particularly achieving results for other people. And that's what this organization is all about. That's what you've done by raising the realization, the knowledge of this terrible plague and how it's caused, and education as such a key to it. But it's the passion that informs the people that I've met who are involved in this issue. And that's what's going to carry the day. That's why this bill, we think, and by the way, you can go broke betting on what Congress is going to do next week, but we believe has a real chance of passage in this congressional session. So I'm basically here to thank you for what you've done and for what you are doing. And education is so important, and knowledge is so important, and that's the mission of this organization. So congratulations. I'm delighted to be able to be with you and be with my friends from Maine. And, I'll go anywhere where there are a couple of people from Maine. And we were on the plane together today. Maine is a big, small town with very long streets. Everyone knows everyone else. I'm not making this up. You can be on the New Jersey Turnpike and you see a car next to you with Maine license plates. Within 30 seconds, I guarantee you can establish someone you know in common. Where are you from? Waterville? No Joe Jabber? He's my cousin. That's what Maine is. And we're a family and we're a community. And I want to bring it back to who you are. It's caring about each other. It's the community that's important. And you're creating a community for people who really need that community. They need that support. They need that reaching out. They need hugs. But they also need facts and information and good policy. That's the job I'm in. I commit to you that I share your passion. We're going to confront this issue and we're going to we want to reduce it to zero. I'd like to see the words fetal alcohol disorder abolished from the language. Let's have that goal. Let's make it just go away. Thank you for what you're doing. I'm with you.